Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn.
Omaha!
Oh, yeah.
Omaha!
Wichita! 4-3, set, hut, hut.
Okay. We are in the studio here with Bobby Michener, who is a sports memorabilia
And no
expert.
relation to James Mitchell, right?
Actually, I am.
Are you
I am
really?
related.
Get out of here!
No? James Mitchell is a relative?
Distant cousin of my grandfather's.
Wow.
Wow.
One of my favorite authors.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, now, Bobby, go ahead
I
and
just
share
got
with
more
us.
street cred.
Share with us some fun sports memorabilia. How many Honus Wagners did you bring with you today?
I left, the greater part of my collection of Honus Wagners at home in the safe.
Shoot. Okay.
I'm
Honus
scared,
Wagners.
scared to walk down the street with those. But you're welcome to come over and visit me anytime, for sure.
Okay, so give us some pearls of wisdom. What how did the sports collecting get started?
Sports collecting, it's a 145-year-old story that started with the advertising of tobacco products in the late 1800s. After the Civil War, we developed a great appetite for tobacco in this country, and we were looking for ways to advertise them. In the Duke brothers and Bull Durham, they were competing tobacco companies, and Duke brothers.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let me shoot right into everyone knows Honus Wagner card is
Sure.
the most expensive one, and we were talking before getting on the air here. I'd heard two different stories. One was there aren't that many around because he was anti-tobacco, and the other story I heard was he wasn't getting paid enough, and he said, "Hey, if I'm not getting paid enough, you can't use my my picture."
I didn't hear that story.
Yeah,
The first one.
I heard there
I heard
were
about the first one.
Yeah, I heard there were only like 70 copies of this thing.
Yeah, I heard they mass produced them, but then he found out after the fact and went, no.
And they wiped
No,
them,
no more.
They destroyed them or something. Is
Yeah.
that right,
They
Bobby?
pulled the production, and whatever was out there is all that's out there and what's survived
Wow.
over the years. And as far as the story goes, the more noble story would be that he was anti-tobacco and didn't want his image being used to endorse young kids consuming tobacco products. But probably the reality is that he wanted a little more compensation that he was being offered. Of course, being one of the greats.
I was telling him too.
All about the Benjamins.
Yeah.
Yeah, in those days, they didn't get a lot of Benjamins either.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's
The
true.
highest paid players were making like $5,000-$6,000.
Yeah, back
Yeah,
then,
back
sure.
then, yeah.
Well, I was telling Bobby that if you watch the movie Pride of the Yankees, 1939, Gary Cooper doing Lou Gehrig, right? In the beginning of the movie, Lou Gehrig is only supposed to be about like 9 years old or something, and he's playing baseball. He's trying to get on the sandlot, play with the older boys. They won't let him play until he says, "Well, here, I'll give you some baseball cards." And they start looking through the cards, and when they hit Babe Ruth, they go, rookie. And the thing is, I'm thinking, who's got that card from the movie?
Yeah.
Because that was in pristine condition back in
Yeah.
Would have been
1939.
original, yeah.
Yeah.
So, what other, now, okay, let's see, going into the baseball, I have cards from the 60s and 70s, in the 70s, but what was the magic year that they just fell off the cliff in value?
It's probably early 90s. It came out of the underground in the mid 80s with the introduction of future Hall of Famers, Don Mattingly and
Oh, yeah.
Cal
Oh, yeah,
Ripken
but-
Jr.
yeah.
It peaked in the late 80s with the excitement of all those guys making their way on the scene. And then the card companies took advantage of growing popularity of the hobby. The baby boomers wanted, the original cards, their mantles from the 50s and 60s, and they were paying a premium for those. And it sparked a big industry. So the card companies overproduced the cards, and you had investors coming in who weren't necessarily sports fans. And by the 1990s, the market had been flooded, and all those guys who had invested in cards in the late 80s realized that there was nobody to sell those cards to down
exactly.
the road. So the card manufacturers took a hit there, but they took precautions to pull back their production and realized that they were on the
Yeah, a little late. I still have.
little
I have 50 Canseco and McGuire rookie cards,
Well,
and they're worth maybe $1 each.
yeah.
Maybe.
Hey, Bob, what was the first piece of sports memorabilia you got where you just looked at it and went, wow, man, I can't believe I have this?
Probably my signed Jackie Robinson postcard. I never thought I'd have a Jackie Robinson autograph, and one of my customers came in, or actually wasn't even a customer, just somebody off the street came in to sell it to me years ago. The shop in there was before my eyes a signed Jackie Robinson postcard, and so wow, here it is.
How do you verify it?
Well, the story that this man told was that it was given to him by his father, who was a groundskeeper at Ebbets Field back in the 50s, and he, had an opportunity to get that signed for his son by Jackie. So his story, authenticates the signature. I've compared it to other exemplars that I've seen, and they match up.
I mean, that's what you got to do. Like, the TV show Pawn Stars, they're always trying to match
authenticity.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, are you an expert in like Canada?
Yeah, I've been viewing. I've been in the business for close to 30 years, really, and I've seen plenty of Jackie Robinsons, and I verify that it's authentic. There are the official authorities in the hobby, PSA and JSA, that you can submit them to them, pay them their fee, and they can stamp it authentic.
And do you go to shows yourself and like try to get, let's say, a bunch of Willie Mays autographs or Pete Rose?
I used to do shows before I opened up my store.
Okay.
We used to do the show circuit, and the market was booming there before the internet, and we used to get around, and I stood in line to get Joe DiMaggio's signature back in '96 at the Cow Palace, which was a great experience. And I don't do much anymore. I spend most of my time in the shop and attending to that. But I'll go and visit and shop around every now and then. But I don't do the shows.
It's interesting though what Bobby's talking about with the '90s, because I remember 1991. Some friend of a friend found out that I had a Nolan Ryan rookie card, and he called me up on the phone. He goes, "I'll give you $900 for that rookie card." So I invited him over, gave him a look at the card. He pulls out 9 $100 bills and gives them to me, and I'm going, "This is great." And what I did was I took that $900 and went out and bought some more vintage baseball cards, which all of a sudden I became a collector of old baseball cards, which I already had, and just supplemented what I have. Now I have this huge collection, which now I find out is worth a lot less than it was back in the early '90s. Now, why is that, Bobby?
It's a tough call. It's the demand and the perception of your collection. People got in the hobby with investment purposes, and that's really not the real reason. I mean, you collect because you're a fan, and you love the history, and collecting kind of chronicles your time as a fan, and it's the physical element of being a fan.
Okay, now I've got the wheel from my bicycle that I used to put the in the spokes. Is that worth anything?
Priceless.
Priceless.
that wheel played a huge part in history.
That's right. I mean, how many did you guys do that? I mean, now the thing is, I was smart enough.
Put the
cards in the spokes.
In the spokes. Yeah, of course. But I was smart enough not to put like Willie Mays or Mickey Mantle and stuff like that.
You put Joe Schlabotnik or Phil Gagliano or something.
But here's the funny thing.
We used like a deck of cards.
Then we got smart.
That was
They
smart,
did that. Yeah. Especially they were more durable.
Yeah.
But didn't you also say that? Because I've done some business with you before. That some of those cards from the '60s, even the no names, are sometimes worth something because people are trying to fill in their full roster.
Sure, in the better condition, the greater the demand still. There's guys who are wanting complete sets, the ones they had when they were a kid. Mom threw them out when they went to the service or off to college, and I say bicycle spokes, and moms across America made it a multi-million-dollar industry because the desire to recapture those cards is really what developed the market as we know it.
It was really cool in the 1960s. Was a lot of the baseball cards, Topps baseball cards, you could see where the pictures were taken at Candlestick Park, which I always thought was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And the reason for that, I don't know if Bobby knows the reason for that, but apparently I found out that the guy who was shooting a lot of the photography for Topps lived in the Bay Area, and so whenever the teams would come into town, he'd make arrangements for X number of players. So not everybody's picture, but most of the National League players in San Francisco.
Very good. Okay, we're going to cut to our first commercial break here. The trivia theme is, since we're getting close to the Super Bowl challenges. Ready for this?
Go.
Okay, which quarterback set a Super Bowl record for throwing 5 interceptions? The first 3 callers with the correct answer win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Their website is lighthouse4fun.com. Call 888-660-4495 to answer this question. Which quarterback set a Super Bowl record for throwing 5 interceptions? And the hint is, it happened in 1942. Just kidding. Obviously, the Super Bowl didn't start until later.
That's right.
Okay, 888-660-4495. Make sure to include your name and your email address. Speak slowly. Spell out your email one letter at a time. Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back.
It's Steve Grogan or Craig Morton. One of those two.
Can't be
I was
Craig
going
Morton because he's going to be on next
to
week.
guess somebody obscure like Neil O'Donnell, who started for the Pittsburgh
that's
Steelers.
right, yeah.
Remember, he got picked off twice by Larry Brown.
That's right. And Larry Brown got that huge contract.
And he got that contract from the Raiders,
and then
right?
he got burned by Andre Rison in the last play of the game.
Yeah,
Monday
it's
night.
just somebody like that is, I guess, 5 picks.
I would think Morton, because I remember that 1970 Super Bowl. There were 8 turnovers in that game. It was one of the sloppiest games ever played. So I'm gonna go with Morton.
Orange Crush. Oh,
No, he was a quarterback of the Cowboys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Morton was quarterback in the Cowboys.
Quarterback
and
of the Cowboys.
Staubach took over the next year.
oh, that's right.
It could be Grogan.
That was the year they
because
lost to the
Grogan's
Colts on
only Super
Jim
Bowl
O'Brien's field goal.
Yeah, I was a big Colts fan, and that happened on my birthday, so I was very happy with that one. I won't tell Craig that when he comes in next week.
Oh, Craig's going to be here next
He's
week.
going to be here
Craig
next
Morton.
week. Yep.
He's a good guy. You know Craig at all, Vernon?
Yeah, I've done a fundraiser with him
He's nice, very nice
He's a
man.
very nice guy.
years ago.
He's not doing. Oh, he's doing okay, but his body is pretty beat up. He was telling me the other day, we were talking on the phone, and said my neck hurts, my back hurts, my hips hurt. He doesn't have one problem. It's just a lot of problems. You
But
get
I
hit.
tell you, I was really rooting for Orange Crush back in the late '70s when they played the Cowboys.
Oh yeah,
I
they had no
just
chance though.
really-
The
I know,
Cowboys
it
just
was-
destroyed them. They only scored 1 touchdown that entire game, and I was on a kickoff or a punt return by Rick Upchurch.
Oh, that's right.
Rick Upchurch.
Yeah, I was really depressed when Miami lost to the Cowboys. I was a big Miami fan.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, they only got 3 points.
That's
I lost
right,
money
they
on
got
that game
killed.
too.
Yeah.
That's a kid in the schoolyard. And then my Minnesota Vikings lost to the Chiefs.
They lost 4
Yeah.
times. Like the
Oh, I know.
Buffalo.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Been back since.
All right. So before we start, okay, what else do we want to cover? Sports memorabilia.
I was going to ask him a hypothetical. If his
Okay.
house is on fire, what are the 3
Yeah, good one.
pieces of memorabilia that
Okay.
he grabbed before
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
went down in embers?
okay, and then after we'll get in. Bobby's going to stay with us, and we'll get into some
Sure.
regular stuff.
All
Okay.
right.
You guys ready? All right. Here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn
Yep.
and Bruce McGowan.
The real man.
The real man. Okay. We'll get to
I'm not some fake like that other guy. I'm a real man. No, I'm not a very good Richard Sherman impersonator.
That's okay. We'll get into him in just a minute here.
Yeah.
Okay, when we cut to the first commercial break, we asked this trivia question here. And again, we're talking about Super Bowl challenges. Which quarterback set a Super Bowl record for throwing 5 interceptions?
My guess, I was guessing obscure. I was going Neil O'Donnell of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And
That's not a
Bruce,
bad guess. I'm going to try Craig Morton of the Cowboys.
And Bobby?
Well, I'm going to go on a guess and say Jim Kelly because he had 4 opportunities to do so.
Oh, that would have been a good guess. No, it was Rich Gannon of the Raiders.
Rich?
That's
Against
right,
Tampa
that's
Bay.
right.
We should know that. We should know that.
2002.
I was surprised
And
you
the
didn't get
Raiders-
that one.
I was there.
You were there, and the Raiders were never the same after that. They had not had a winning season since.
Well, wasn't that the same year that the offensive guard just kind of went?
That was the
center.
The
Barry
center.
Roberts.
Barry Roberts.
Yeah.
You went
The night
AWOL.
before, the night
You know,
before.
he's
Yeah.
been to hell and back. He was shot and nearly killed in a break-in.
Been in jail.
Been in
He's,
jail. Apparently, isn't he getting his act together, Vernon? I heard he's
supposedly, but man,
Yeah, he went through the.
God, I could get like the day before just go.
Nice,
Well,
and a
he
nice
was-
guy too.
he was
really
off his meds. He had a chemical
Yeah.
imbalance. He just
He was bipolar. Serious
Yeah.
bipolar
Oh, yeah.
problem.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, we're in the studio here also with Bobby Michener, who is a sports memorabilia expert. For
Yeah,
anyone
I
asking
got a
any questions.
hypothetical. Okay,
All
your,
right.
your house is on fire. It's engulfed in flames. And everybody else is out of the house, but you can only save 3 items.
And if one of them is Ron Swoboda, I'm there with you.
What are the 3 that you grab in your arms as you burst out of the house?
Number 1, probably my Jackie Robinson postcard that I mentioned earlier.
Which is sitting right here in
Which
front
is
of
sitting
you.
right in
yeah.
front of us, yeah, for y'all to see.
Yeah.
Number 2, probably my signed left field duel baseball, PCL baseball.
Okay.
Pacific Coast League.
Pacific Coast
All
League.
right.
And last but not least, my favorite piece of memorabilia would be my signed, game-used Pro Bowl jersey to Jerry Rice, 1992.
Oh, Flash
Sweet.
80,
That's
nice.
my gem.
There you
and,
go.
Excellent.
I couldn't go on without that, so I'd have to go for that one.
Hey,
Wow,
Bobby,
okay,
I gotta ask
good.
you now, though, you brought with you some old yearbooks, and I'm a collector. I'm not a huge collector of yearbooks, but I told you before the show I have every San Francisco Giants yearbook. Believe it or not, there were a couple years the Giants didn't make a yearbook. But what about some of these old yearbooks? Let's say you have a 1952 New York Yankees yearbook or a 1960. I mean, it just depends on how good the team was, what the year was, all that.
And the condition.
The condition.
The
Yeah.
condition's a factor, whether they won the World Series or not. You know, the specific year does matter its collectability, but anything 50s and anything Yankees specifically from the Mickey Mantle era, you know, they're within hundreds of dollars.
Now, why did the Giants not produce?
A couple of years, that's a good question. I do not know. I don't think there was as much demand, but they started doing it again in the early '80s. But from about 70,
Well, they had terrible teams in the late 70s.
yeah, 77 to about 80, they didn't have one because I always would go to the ballpark and I'd say, "Where's the yearbooks?" No, we're not making one this year. And it was just, oh, come on. And then the Giants used to give the yearbooks away to the media up until about 2004, and then you couldn't buy. You don't get any freebies anymore. Ballpark. No free lunch, no free dinner, no free parking.
Well, you get a media guide.
Well, you get a media guide. Yeah, that's true. But no free yearbook anymore. I said, what is this? Come on. You're taking away our freebies. That's not fair.
I remember going down to Memorial Stadium. This is when I was working in Baltimore, and you could eat at Memorial. You could eat in an Orioles game for 35 cents, and then the beers were 50 cents a pop.
Sweet.
Oh, it was awesome.
You should have stacked up. You could have had some of them now.
Yeah.
You know who started that whole thing about making the media pay for their meal was Ted Turner. And then first it slowly spread through baseball, and then football picked it up. I'm sorry, basketball picked it up, hockey picked it up, and now football is the only sport where they still, because it's only once a week, where they give the media free meal.
Okay, Vern, tell us a story about basketball with Naismith. The memorabilia there.
Oh, well, there's an ESPN 30 for 30 documentary. It was called something to the effect of Bringing It Home or Coming Home or something like that. And this was about the original rules of basketball that were written by James Naismith in 1892 or whatever. And it's 2 pages. It's done with a typewriter. I mean, it's an old manual typewriter, and it's signed James Naismith. And it's I mean, there's nothing else like that. I mean, there's no rules of professional football. There's no, there's something like that with the creator.
It's like an original
of the sport. Wrote them right there, and so it had been in the Naismith family for years, and the family decided to put it up for auction to sell at Sotheby's, and once the word got out, there was this one alum that's this crazy, Jayhawks alum saying, hey, James Naismith was our first basketball coach at the University of Kansas, lived in Lawrence, invented the game, and those rules belong in the Hall of Fame at Kansas. And so he knew it was going to cost a lot of money. He didn't have any money himself. He had a small list of like 5 deep hot pocket alums that would go and make this pitch, and he had a nice video presentation. He had a testimonial from Larry Brown, who coached at Kansas, from the Carolina coach right now. I'm blanking.
Carolina
basketball.
You Charlotte, you mean? The Charlotte Hornets?
No.
Oh, North Carolina.
University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, the current coach right now.
Who is the current coach of North Carolina right now?
Oh, come on.
I should know this.
Come on, I got it in my head.
We'll go on.
Well, you have it in your head, you should have it.
Come on. Come on, but anyway, it was just
Dean
all these
Smith?
testimonies.
No.
No, but he was Dean's top assistant, and then he coached at Kansas. Roy Williams.
Roy Williams, of
Roy
course.
Williams. So,
I was going to say Rick Pitino, but...
look at this, 4 talk show hosts. We don't know what we're talking about. Anyway, so we had all these on-screen testimonies, and it moved this alum so much. It says, you're right, we got it. We got to do it. I'm in for $1 million.
Wow.
And the guy says, well, man, it's going to take more than $1 million. I'll try and drum up more money. And so we just had over $1 million on the day of the auction, and the guy who was bidding up against was a Duke alum who wanted to buy the rules of basketball and put it in the Hall of Fame at Duke at Cameron Indoor Stadium. And this alum just said, hey, well, we just can't have that. I mean, he can't. Come on, get Duke?
Why Duke? Did they have a good basketball team?
I'm trying to recall.
But anyway, the bidding, it was going back and forth. Ended up selling for $3.8 million.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
Hey, Bobby, how do you have a store where you actually have the stuff? If anyone wanted to give you a call to find out more about sports memorabilia, to see what you got in your case there, how did they get hold of you?
I'm a downtown merchant, San Rafael, 1144 4th Street, and my phone number is 415 area code.
San Rafael, California,
San Rafael,
not
California.
Texas.
Yeah.
North of San Francisco.
North of San Francisco.
Where we're sitting right now.
Where we're
isn't
sitting
that
right
fact?
now.
That's right. Not in your store, but not far.
Yeah, what's your phone number?
Block away. It's
That's right.
415 area code 456 4105. We're open 7 days a week.
And
Now,
your-
what
your
companies actually seal these individual baseball cards? I mean, I've heard of companies in Florida that do it for, say, like comic books. But,
They're in these little glass or kind of plastic hard cases.
did you do this yourself, or did a
No,
professional company have
Well,
to?
that you can do yourself because it's
Yeah.
not graded.
Yeah,
Those aren't graded.
these aren't professionally
Oh,
graded
okay.
or slabbed. These are just plastic protectors that
Yeah.
we sell in stores.
So to be graded, you'd have to send this off, and
You'd have
they'd
to
have to
submit,
take it.
you have to submit it to PSA, the Professional Sports Authenticators, or Beckett, and they grade them on a 1 to 10 scale depending on their condition, and
Then they seal it,
they
right?
seal it and send it back
10
to-
being mint.
10 being mint, yes,
Okay.
gem mint. Is
Hey,
what it's
how many companies make baseball cards anymore? Because Topps was doing it
Uh,
by itself for a while, then you had
Donruss.
Fleer, Donruss. Have they gone away? Some of those other ones?
Yeah, we've shrunk down to just Topps manufacturing.
Oh, back to Topps
Back
again?
to Topps.
Yeah.
When I was a
The
kid,
only-
that was the only one really that mattered.
Yeah,
I thought it was great though when we had all these other ones because the quality was just amazing.
the quality and competition really kept
Yeah.
kept the hobby thriving. But
Yeah.
we're just down to Topps manufacturing baseball. They're the only licensed product on the market, and the 2014 Topps should be out at the end of the month. So
Has the memorabilia business kind of dropped? I mean, you mentioned baseball card values aren't as high as they are. How about are you finding that your business is still doing well?
my business is still consistent. Interests have changed over the years. You know, the internet has a lot to do with that. People get more specific instead of trying to get everything. They narrow down to things that just mean more to them.
Well, that's like
Favorite
me. I've
team.
got probably 2,000 baseball cards,
Wow.
and some of them are fairly valuable.
Do you have them pretty well organized? Do you have are you just in
Some.
boxes, or do you have them like in?
Some,
Because I
some
put
of
mine in
them are-
little, what do you call them, those little folders
Yeah,
in the plastic thing,
Uh-huh.
because it's good.
yeah. I've got that, and a couple of them I've gotten like a safe deposit box. But
Wow.
my most expensive one is probably like maybe a Rod Carew rookie card, or my Millie Mays or Mickey Mantle. But I got a whole bunch of like just regular old cards, and the 2,000 cards. I mean, that's nothing. I knew the guy who sold me all the Ken Seikos. He's got 1 million baseball cards.
Jeez.
And he needs warehouses full. And I like the idea of just narrowing it down
Yeah,
and getting
the ones you want.
Yeah,
Ralph
it's-
Barbieri, who used to work at Canberra.
Ralph Barbieri.
Yeah, Ralph Barbieri.
Ralph
He-
Barbieri.
Very good.
Yeah,
He
okay.
actually had quite a card collection from the 50s, and he knew at the time I was collecting, and he needed some money to move into a new apartment to put down a deposit. So he sold me his entire collection from 1954 to 58.
For how much?
There were 900 cards.
What'd you see Bob's expression when you said that?
Yeah, no, yeah.
For $900.
There you go, back to the $900. That's a magic number.
Yeah.
Hey Bob,
Okay.
who are the five players, living or dead, that you would invite over for a cookout, and what item of swag would you have each of them bring?
Okay, he's going to answer that right after when we get back from commercial break. Okay, remember that question. Okay, here's the second commercial break. Trivia question against Super Bowl challenges is the question. Is the
Question.
theme? Thank you.
Sorry.
Okay, which rookie running back rushed for over 200 yards in the Super Bowl?
Oh, I know who that is.
Okay,
I got him.
first
I
three
got
callers-
it.
The next question I have is really hard though. Okay, the first 3 callers win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort with the correct answer. Call 888-660-4495 to answer this question. Which rookie running back rushed for over 200 yards in the Super Bowl? Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101 will be right back.
Yeah,
I'm
I got
fading on
that
one,
one.
but I do remember when that
Don't say it yet. We'll let you answer it on the air.
Here are the clues. Nobody had heard of him.
Uh-huh.
He was like 3rd on the depth chart.
Right.
Top 2 backs got hurt, and he emergency starter.
What
I mean,
era
and
was
they
that?
were 87.
Oh,
don't
for
tell
the
him that.
For the
Then he'll
Redskins, then. For Washington? Ricky Williams. No. What was I saying? Ricky Williams.
No, let him guess on the air.
No, Ricky Williams didn't. He played with the Redskins, but he didn't do that. No.
Ricky Williams played with the Redskins.
Did he play with the Redskins?
No.
John
Or the
Riggins.
Cowboys. I'm thinking of who's the guy I'm thinking of who played with the Redskins?
John Riggins.
No, it's not that John Riggins. There was somebody there who was there for a short time.
So this guy,
My
and
brain's
he
been
had
scrambled from
he had the
catching
one great game,
And that
and
was
you
it.
never heard from him again.
True.
He was a one-hit wonder.
And he played, but he didn't do much.
But he was that, yeah.
Did he get a big contract?
No.
No.
No, I mean, he got his 15 minutes of fame.
Was he MVP of the Super Bowl?
No.
Should have been. No. He ran for 200 yards and he wasn't MVP.
No.
Whoa, 87. So it would have been for the Redskins, right? Yeah. Who did the Redskins have? Doug Williams was the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And who was the running back?
That's pretty good. I'm impressed that you're going to get the answer to this.
Come on, man. He had the complexion to make the connection. Come on.
I'm fanning on this one. I'm fanning on this one.
Cracks me up. Okay, there we go. Then after you answer that question, then we'll go on to other fun stuff. Okay, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn and Bruce McGowan. No. Okay, when we the complexion to make the connection. Okay, we'll get into that in a second. Okay, second trivia question here it was. Which rookie running back rushed for over 200 yards in the Super Bowl? Since Vern says he knows the answer.
Let him answer. I have no idea.
You have no idea?
No, I know it was the Washington Redskins in 1987 because Vern gave me that. Yeah,
Okay, go ahead. Who was it?
Oh, it was Tim Smith.
It was
Tim
Smith.
He wore number 36.
Yeah.
Nobody had
Yeah.
ever heard of this guy.
Yeah.
Outside of the nation's capital, he's an emergency starter
Yeah.
in the Super Bowl, and he has
Has the
been
game of his life.
unbelievable. Well, I mean,
Yeah, that's great.
I mean,
Yeah, he did.
nobody heard of him.
Yeah.
Nobody had any game plan for him.
You remember the Redskins destroyed the Broncos?
But they started off, though. Broncos were really strong.
Yeah, for about a quarter. And
About a quarter, and then it falls downhill.
And Doug Williams was the MVP.
Oh,
That's right.
amazing.
Okay, Vern, what was the question that you asked Bobby?
Oh, yeah, it's just one of my favorite riding down the road questions. Bob, who are the 5 athletes, living or dead, that you'd invite over for a cookout, and what item of swag would you each have them bring?
Well, we got to start with Mr. Michael Jordan, and I'd have to have his shoes.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's historical, you know. And then
Can you imagine Jordan showing up at the cookout with a pair of Air Jordans just hanging over his shoulder? Hey, Bob, here. Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't bring any steaks, but here, have a couple of.
Didn't he actually give a pair of his shoes away to a kid once? Some underprivileged kid came into the locker room.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
They kid, catch.
Yeah.
Who else?
famous items. Let's see. We got to have Babe Ruth bring in his bat. You know, that's legendary.
All right.
And
I just want Honest Wagner bringing his card.
that's up there. That could break the top 5. Joe Montana's jersey from Super Bowl 16.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Gotta have that in the group. Let's see where else.
That's okay. You don't have to name all 5. Just kind of.
Yeah,
Well, he's
those are
halfway
my top
home. He got 3.
Okay.
Let's see, I was a huge Cal Ripken Jr. fan, so rookie jersey from Cal would
That'd be cool.
Would
Yeah,
seal
he's
the
awesome.
collection.
I wonder
Cal's my guy.
I wonder if that many players keep their actual rookie jerseys, or they're allowed to, because don't they belong to the ball club? Don't those?
No, but you have, when you're done, you have an option to buy. I mean, they give you like in football, you can have a helmet, you can have a jersey, but then you have the option to buy anything else you want.
Any that you wore, and they actually have those. They hang on to them. Huh?
Really? You have to buy your own after you wore it and sweated in it and all that kind of stuff? Yeah, who'd want it?
Well, the equipment guy washes it. I mean,
Be interesting to find out
yeah.
how many uniforms a player will run through. Say a baseball player, 160 games. You got to run through at least a dozen uniforms. I would think. Huh?
Probably.
Well, unless you're sitting on the bench a lot.
Yeah, it depends on who you are. So
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
if they rip, get worn, whatever, yeah.
Okay, now we just come back from watching the Niners get laced out of there by the Seahawks.
Close game.
Yeah. Now,
That strikes a chord in me. Not for,
absolutely.
not
I mean,
not the fact that they lost, because I'm not a real like
Live and
huge
die.
49er fan. But what upsets me the most after all these years, and this might not be popular among some of the listeners out there, but I've been in this market alone almost quarter of a century, and for the first time, I was able to just step back and look at these 49er fans, and I know I'm painting a broad brush for who they really are. I mean, I'd heard about 40 whiners and all this kind of stuff, but I never really paid attention to it until now.
Mm.
And I've dated a lot of women that are like the same way. When the 49ers lose, I correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, but to me, it's never their fault.
That's right.
It's somebody else's fault.
Yeah.
They got screwed by
They
the
got screwed by
referees.
the refs, yeah.
I have not heard one 49er fan come up and say, all right,
Really?
Seattle was the better team, and they just flat out. It's unbelievable. They can never admit they're wrong.
Okay,
I mean, it's just the.
Well, there's some
But
truth in the
Edward, there is you can't deny. There is some. Just take a step back. There is a degree of arrogance in these 49er fans that I just have never seen before. I mean, it drives me crazy.
Well, it's entitlement. All the Super Bowl championships.
And when they win, everything is beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, if the calls that went against them went for them and against Seattle, nobody would say anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, yes, the Bowman call.
Yeah.
That was wrong. Okay.
Yeah, but then the next play they got a better situation.
Well, the next play they got a better
That's
situation.
true. No, I'm not too upset. about that
But whenever 49ers lost 5 times this year, all 5 of those games, any 49er fan, the 49er empire, they will not freely admit, well, they were the better team. They never admit when they're wrong. They never admit.
Okay, so I'm a 49er fan, but I do agree. So listen, I'm not in quite that camp. I'm more frustrated with like clock management. I mean, how when you have 3 timeouts and you have a minute plus to go, do you not? And you know the crowd is noisy, and you can call 1 timeout, and then when you get your team there, talk about the next 3 plays, with one of them at least being a running play by Kaepernick, because you know it's going to be so loud that you're not going to be able to hear the plays.
Yeah, but how do you know they didn't? I mean, how do you know they've got the quarterback's got a radio in his helmet? I mean, they.
Oh, you mean they called timeout? He didn't hear it?
Yeah, but how do you? No, I mean, how do you know they didn't think of 10 different things and they had to make a decision in 20 seconds?
Well, here's the other thing: is if they would have scored a touchdown that quickly, Seattle would have had time to get the ball and come back anyway. Now, I know, and I know you don't necessarily go, well, we're going to do a touchdown on, 2 seconds
I don't know,
left
22
to go.
seconds left.
No,
I don't know.
Before that, that's what I'm saying. Is there was a minute plus to go. They should have called timeout. And Kaepernick had already had a 50-something run.
But again, it gets back to my point. That's coaching.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah.
That is. I mean, and they just weren't good enough.
Okay.
They weren't good enough.
Absolutely.
They did not make
Look at the
coaching
fumble.
decisions.
Oh, I totally agree with you. I'm not
Three
arguing with that.
turnovers in the fourth quarter. That tells us.
Yeah, I mean Kaepernick. I mean that fumble, which and the silly
They just
interception.
flat out
And
got
Sherman is
sour
awesome.
grapes, whatever.
Yeah.
They flat out got beat.
Absolutely.
Well, and I will say this.
No, nobody said anything
Yeah.
when they're chasing Russell Wilson around on 4th down, and he completes a 35-yard touchdown.
That was
and
awesome.
and he had blanket coverage. The guy made the guy made a play.
That was great coverage. Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's great coverage, but
a 49er fan will never admit that. They will never admit that.
Remember when he was scrambling around? He made that 57-yard completion. How do you let a guy get that open? Even when you're scrambling around.
But you have to ask Dante Whitner. You have to ask those guys that were behind it.
You know what cracks me up are people that rip Kaepernick for throwing that interception. First of all, Richard Sherman made a great play.
He made a great play. It was a Herculean play.
And then a couple of, what was it, in the third quarter when Kaepernick threw that touchdown, he was literally in midair throwing the ball in the air and just threaded the needle. It was a perfect pass. But, I mean, you had to throw a perfect pass on that last play to win it. And, I mean, I don't like people ripping on Kaepernick. I don't think he's not Montana or young yet, but he's only in his second year as a starter.
I will say that you're right, Bruce. I will say this. Kaepernick is young and is only going to get better.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And it wasn't, I mean, he made a couple of
5 years from now, he'll be able to make a throw where he drops it into the bucket. But he can't do it now.
Not very often.
Peyton Manning can do it.
Peyton Manning can do it.
Tom Brady can do it, but they played over time. And I don't care what you do in life, after a while, the game slows down.
It does.
You know how to play that game.
Yeah.
And Kaepernick he's just learning. Right now he's young and he wants to make the play. He wants to make the SportsCenter highlight. And I get that because he's young. And when you're young, we think we're the man and we have all the answers.
Okay, let me ask you: if you're Pete Carroll, do you tell Richard Sherman keep your mouth shut.
Well, he probably did. He talked to him right after the
He
game.
probably just said, "Hey, Richard, think about it next time." But
I don't know
he
if
was
you saw
probably
Brett.
he was probably so happy. He probably
Sherman
thought-
he came out and apologized.
Yeah, he did.
He had a
did come
press
out and
conference.
apologize yesterday.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, Vernon. I think we mentioned this actually. Vernon interviewed him before. I interviewed him several times because I was working for Stanford for a while. Bright young guy, engaging, likable. I think he just got caught up in the heat of the moment. And I think it was a bad choice. Fox should have known. I think Fox knew ahead of time that they were going to get something, and they were hoping to get something.
I don't think so. I don't think so
I think
because
he's surprised.
because Erin Andrews was shocked.
Oh, she was shocked.
She didn't
I'm
even.
saying her producer probably knew.
She didn't even know
Her producer
that
probably
there,
knew.
that there was some kind of a rip between him
No.
and
No,
she didn't
looked,
even know.
She looked shocked. She did look shocked. Yeah, that was pretty funny actually.
And then all those boys in the truck got nervous.
Yeah.
They saw an angry black man with those dreads.
And he was in the face of the camera.
Because I know how it works.
Yeah.
I know how it works.
Yeah.
A bunch of those guys in the truck, they saw a man go off, and they're like, and they told Erin Andrews, throw it back to Joe as soon as he's done, because they were afraid of what he was going to say next.
Did you see what he did with Ed Werder? He did the same thing, and Ed Werder let him go on, and it wasn't, he was able to get a good interview out of him. But Sherman was just there's a lot of history going on between him and Crabtree.
Now, is there going to be a bounty put on his head? I mean, how do you think the Broncos are going to?
I don't think they care. They could care less. But the Niners next year, that's going to make the rivalry that much better next year when he comes back to the Bay Area.
Well, I believe so.
Woo! The first game at Levi Stadium.
And next year, Seattle, they're going to have a first place schedule now.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tougher for them.
I mean, I do appreciate exciting stuff like what was going on. I mean, I hate it when they just interview, well, we played a good game, and they played a good game, and we just happened to be on top. I mean, come on, guys, that's a little boring.
But still, I think when you start completely going off on a tangent, it was just, it was, But I understand.
I understand the fact that it was the heat of the moment. It's right after the game, and all of a sudden you got a microphone shoved in your face, and you're just emotionally amped.
And who knows? Maybe 30 seconds before Crabtree and him tried to exchange pleasantries, or maybe he went over to Crabtree and Crabtree told him to get out of here or something. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, he did slap on the head.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. I don't know if you guys saw this. The Flames and the Canucks. As soon as the puck drops, they get into a fight.
Tortorella. Oh yeah.
Right out of slap
That's like
shot.
slap shot. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, why can't football, baseball, and basketball have as much entertainment? They do the tip off immediately.
You know why they do it in hockey though? Hockey's just never going to be a mainstream sport, and it's kind of like wrestling. They gotta do something to amp the crowd up, don't you think?
Well, the thing is, it's a sport where you're constantly checking, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in football, you get a penalty for that, right? But in hockey, I mean, you're supposed to check a guy into the boards.
Yeah.
A hockey player told me the reason why they get all agitated it'd be if you turned to Bob and for 30 minutes went like that.
Yeah. Just push him on the shoulder.
After a while, you're gonna, hey man, get off me.
I
don't think I'd be good at that.
Well, also when you're flying down the ice 20 miles an hour and some guy's trying to smash in the ice, it's a little scary.
Yeah.
You're kind of upset. Hey, I could get injured. Watch out, pal. And it is a game of intimidation too.
Those guys are tough though. They can take get your teeth knocked out in the second period and go get them stitched up and come back and finish the third and knock in the game-winning goal. I mean, that's a real athlete.
You know what's great about hockey players from a media standpoint? I don't know how the fans feel. They are the nicest bunch of guys, generally speaking, and
that's because they're the most beautiful wives.
They do, and they're the most easygoing.
They're incredibly calm in an interview. They're just
very
like
calm.
that. It's amazing.
They get all the aggression out on the ice.
Talk to Joe Thornton sometimes. I'll put you to sleep. I mean, he's so boring.
But, never says anything.
No, he doesn't. Nice guy, but he never says anything.
Okay, you guys ready for this hard question?
Go.
No.
Okay, all right. Again, the theme is Super Bowl challenges. Okay, we're getting to our third and final commercial break. What strange, uncommon theme happened in Super Bowls 6, 10, 24, and 33? And here's the hint, quote, hint. The specific teams that we're talking about that day: Miami, Dallas, Denver, and Atlanta. It's hard. You got to be thinking.
Those were the sites.
Those were the
sites of the Super. Those were the sites.
No, those were the teams in
common.
Super Bowl 6, 10, 24, and 33 that we're talking about.
Right.
Okay? What are the teams again?
Okay. So, the first. Let me just finish this. Okay, the first three callers with the correct answer win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Call 888-660-4495 to answer this question. What strange, uncommon theme happened in Super Bowls 6, 10, 24, and 33? And the hint is that the teams that we're talking about on that specific day were Miami, Dallas, Denver, and Atlanta. So it only happened on to one of the teams on one Super Bowl, then one of the teams, the other Super Bowl, one of the teams. This is kind of an odd question
Miami,
here. Dallas, Denver, and Atlanta. And we're talking about Super Bowl 6, 10, 24, and 33. Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101 will have some closing comments.
Unusual.
You said the first one was Super Bowl 6?
This is tough. Super Bowl 6, 10, 24, and 30. That's a very hard question. I gave you two.
And there's one answer.
There's one answer. It's a common
6,
theme.
10.
Like let's say for example,
Like interception return for a touchdown.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean something
That's what I was
something
gonna
along
say.
those lines where you
Six.
go, like Miami returned one for a touchdown, Dallas returned one for a touchdown, Denver returned one for a touchdown.
That's what I was going to pick.
Yeah.
But
That's not the answer, but I'll give you a few guesses on that.
Common theme.
This one's really
Six
hard.
was
But it's
Miami,
interesting though.
Miami
That's
and
what I think.
Washington.
Washington,
10 was
was
Pittsburgh and Dallas.
Pittsburgh and Dallas,
16 did you say?
24 and 33.
6, 10, 24, and 33.
24 San Francisco, Denver. 33 was...
That was Atlanta and
Denver.
Yeah, Denver
Yeah.
and Atlanta.
Now, those were all...
So it wasn't with Denver in that time, it was with Atlanta
Yeah.
specifically.
Yeah.
Again,
Didn't Tim Dwight run a punt return back at the end of the game for a touchdown?
But that didn't happen in the other games. I remember in the game, the Washington...
Yeah, Miami
Miami
Washington,
game.
it was 14-7. That was the final.
Yeah, and the only score that Washington got was when Gary Apremian tried to throw the
And
ball.
Mike Bass
Mike
intercepted
Bass,
it and
yeah.
ran it back for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing we know all this
Botched.
stuff?
Yeah.
We can't remember our social security
Yeah.
numbers. Remember things
Or
like
you can't
this.
remember the
10
coach
was,
of
10
North
was
Carolina.
Dallas, Denver, right?
Yeah, Dallas.
Was
Actually,
that-
10 was Pittsburgh, Dallas.
Pittsburgh, Dallas. That was one where Jackie Smith dropped one in the end
No,
zone.
that was
No,
the
that
second
was
time they
second.
played. Second time they played.
Okay,
That was at that game.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
Just
Here we go.
common theme.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn
Baffled.
and Chris McGowan.
Double baffled.
Double baffle. Okay, this is a tough one. What strange, uncommon theme happened in Super Bowls 6, 10, 24, and 33? And the hint was the specific teams that day that we're talking about were Miami. That would be Super Bowl 6.
So somebody
Yeah.
on Miami did something.
Something
no,
occurred.
it has to
Something
be-
occurred in the game.
Yeah. Okay, Miami, Dallas, Denver, and Atlanta.
They all stayed in Fleabag hotels.
You're right. No. Okay, this is okay.
They all had two.
I'm going to say my first guess would be a special teams touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I would think too. Okay, here's the answer. The losing team never had a penalty called against them.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
I
And
know.
I'm thinking,
What penalty-
now maybe if they
wow.
were more aggressive and got a few more penalties, they would have won.
Be like the Seahawks, who were tough, always getting lots of penalties.
Yeah, or the Raiders like that, but they keep losing a lot.
That's true.
Wow.
Don't remind me.
Well, Bobby, it was very fun having you here,
Thank you,
showing
guys.
us
I
all these
appreciate
fun
you inviting
sports
me down here.
memorabilia,
It's
which
good
I am
talking to you.
looking at a Ted Williams completely sealed, because it's still in there, root beer.
From what year?
What year is that?
That would be around 1955, I believe.
Wow.
That's a lot of root beer.
Yeah. it's a Mark-
60-year,
Mark's root
almost a
beer.
60-year-old root beer.
Yeah.
And it probably still tastes pretty good.
Okay, I want to thank my co-hosts, Bruce McGowan and Vern Glenn, for joining me here in the studio. Bobby, thank you very much for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Thoughts for the day. Comedian Rita Rudner. I'm not sure who she is, but she says...
She's a comedian. Rudner.
Rudner, okay.
Oh,
she's-
Hilda Rudner's sister.
Oh,
right?
okay, there we
Yeah.
go. She says, men forget everything, women remember everything.
That's
That's why
true.
men need instant replays in sports.
That's
They've already
true.
forgotten what they...
Well, I was going to say earlier, we forget our wives' anniversary. You know, our anniversary with our wife.
I
We forget
don't-
birthdays.
I don't forget
but
that
we
one.
remember how many home runs Willie Mays hit.
That's-
I think,
that's-
you know.
That's
Super
660
Bowl.
total.
Yeah.
Okay, and officials are the only guys who can rob you and then get a police escort out of the stadium.
I like that.
Yeah.
Who said that?
You know
You-
what?
you
I don't
did.
remember. Yeah, I said that. Yeah,
You just said it.
I'm saying that because I'm still upset about the 49er game because I think they were
You're a
robbed.
whiner.
Yeah, I'm a
He's
whiner.
a whiner.
40
40 whiners.
Okay, tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective and giving away more free vacations for answering sports trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our
Where's
team,
my swag?
Where's your swag? On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Good night, America.
So long.
New York Americans?